Welcome, I am Tom Goodwin, and with me today is Lauren Hammond. We're here to talk about the Libby Museum, the oldest and only natural history museum in New Hampshire, and its plans for restoration. We are residents of Wolfeboro and members of the board of the Friends of the Libby Museum, a charitable 501c3 organization set up in the mid-1980s to support the care of the museum and its rare collection. We'll take you through a brief slideshow about the museum, its founder and its importance, the plans for restoration, and why a 2023 town warrant article for the Libby is very important.
This is the museum today, and as it was in 1912, 110 years ago, in the earliest known photograph of the museum. Not much has changed, except, of course, in 1912, Dr. Libby had a horse and carriage, and actually he had a Model A Ford, which was one of the first cars in Wolfeboro. Dr. Libby designed the museum for the public's enjoyment and to house his growing collection of natural history items. He built it from timber felled from nearby Rattlesnake Island on Lake Winnipesaukee, which he owned in the late 1800s.
The Libby overlooks beautiful Winter Harbor and is about 3 miles north of downtown Wolfeboro, near the Tuftonboro town line. You can reach there by boat, there's a public dock for landing, or by car. The museum has an open vista of the Belknap mountain range, which can never be obscured according to the Libby Trust, which was established to care for the museum and its property when Dr. Libby passed away in 1933.
So, who was Dr. Libby? As many residents say, he was one of us, born a farm boy on Tuftonboro Neck in 1850. His story is one of rags to riches. After attending the Wolfeboro-Tuftonboro Academy, you'll know it as Brewster Academy, Dr. Libby apprenticed as a dentist and found his way to Boston, where he earned an honorary degree from Harvard Dental School. Many of his tools are on display at the museum today. Dr. Libby was most of all an inventor, a naturalist, and a philanthropist. He's known as a true Renaissance man. He was an artist and a poet and did so many things. He made his wealth in Boston, but invested much of it in the building to create his museum and preserving the surrounding land. His vision was for a place open to all to learn and explore the natural world. What museum visitors most remember about the museum are the open display of birds, fish, and animals, many from local areas and donated by local residents, and also the antique wonder cabinets full of butterflies, reptiles, insects, and minerals.
So what makes the museum so unique? Beyond being the oldest and only natural history museum in the state, it's recognized nationally as a historic place for its contribution to education. For many years, individuals and organizations have gifted artifacts to the museum, like the full-sized moose. There are now about 3,000 items, from Native American arrowheads and a dugout canoe found in Rust Pond in the 1970s, which can be seen behind the moose here, to archaeological finds from Governor Wentworth's mansion near Lake Wentworth. He was New Hampshire's first governor and the reason that we are called the oldest summer resort in America.
But the Libby is not just about exhibits. Nature programs for young people and free exhibit space for artists have been going on for decades. These are open to all to learn about the natural world. Many of you have even enjoyed the live animal shows every summer. These are free to everyone and attract hundreds of visitors, thanks to the funds raised by the Friends of the Libby Museum.
For 110 years, people from near and far have enjoyed the Libby, and it's no wonder this unheated and uninsulated museum now needs restoration. Here we can see the cracked plaster and mold being cleaned from a skunk. The town, as trustees of the museum since 1956, commissioned many technical studies about the building since 1999. These were used to inform restoration planning, which began in 2019. Alba Architects, together with HEB Engineers and Cobb Hill Construction, led the restoration planning and were contracted by the town with the use of donor funds. They completed a full building assessment, technical plans, and drawings for the restoration. These plans were approved by the selectmen in 2020, and we'll share a few today. Structurally, the planned restoration will stabilize the building, strengthen the structural beams in the foundation, and eliminate the wall movement and stabilize the floor. An HVAC system will control internal temperature and humidity year-round to help preserve the collection. Improvements for ADA compliance include a rear handicap access and a small elevator. Lastly, storage space for circulating exhibits, community meeting space, and a small office are included. A modest addition to the rear of the building will house these and allow the main floor of the museum to be as it was originally intended, a large open museum display space. The addition is on 2 levels, with one below grade and one above, and will anchor the historic building and will not be visible from the road or from the lakeside. The addition at the rear of the building will include an internal mezzanine seen here. It will provide a covered walkway from the parking area, giving safer entry for children and those with impaired mobility who struggle to cross the busy road in front of the museum. It will also give visitors a lovely view of the lake as they enter onto the upper mezzanine, with the full expanse of the museum below. To restore the Libby, the total cost is estimated by Cobb Hill Construction at $3.1 million as of 2022. The good news is the Friends of the Libby Museum are offering to support to reduce the cost to the town's taxpayers. We have agreed to raise 70% of these funds, or $2.2 million, and we have raised $1.7 million so far in firm pledges and donations. The remaining 30% of the cost of the project, $900,000, needs to be raised by the town. But again, there is good news. The town has already $300,000 in reserves from a 2020 warrant article, and that means the town needs to raise $600,000 in order to match the Friends' support of $2.2 million. In summary, the town needs to raise $600,000 more to reach their total of $900,000. The Friends of the Libby Museum need to raise an additional $500,000 to reach their goal of $2.2 million. The total cost of the project would be $3.1 million.
So we hope viewers understand the Friends are working hard to raise 70% of this project's cost by early 2023. Our support to you depends on the generosity of donors, including some who have pledged large, time-sensitive sums.
The Friends' offer of $2.2 million depends on our donors' generosity and also on the town. The town will need to approve a warrant article in March of 2023 to get the time-sensitive donations from the Friends of the Libby Museum and our donors. The donations are not available if the warrant article fails. What about after the restoration? The Friends are optimistic and have given a costed business plan to the selectmen on how to run the museum after the restoration. This was presented in June of 2022. It proposes a way to hold operating costs to the town at the current level by partnering with the Friends in day-to-day management. To secure the long-term future of the museum, we have also started an endowment fund with the goal of raising an additional $1 million by 2026 to be used for operating costs. We'll share more on post-restoration plans, but for now we are focused on closing the gap in fundraising so restoration can begin. We'd like you to remember the Friends of the Libby Museum support to the town of $2.2 million depends on the 2023 warrant article for $600,000 being passed by the voters. Only this will save the Libby for the future generations. Thank you for listening today.